Old habits die hard. How true is this saying when it comes to sticking to your diet and training plan? If you're like most people, I'm sure you've sabotaged your own progress more than once. No matter how hard you try, willpower fails, and you find yourself going through a whole bag of chips late at night. First, let me let you know that you're not alone. These self-sabotaging habits are more common than you think. And in today's video, I'm gonna give you my top 5 strategies to establish lifelong healthy habits. Let's go. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Coach Eric. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. There are timestamps down below to help you navigate to the portions you're most interested in, so please check those out. Now, first strategy is to clean up your environment. Now, I've given this tip multiple times. If you've watched my other content, you already know about this one. I won't stop talking about it because I think it's the most important one. We are a byproduct of our environment. This means if your house is full of junk food, you'll be more tempted to eat it than if it wasn't. If your fridge only contains good, healthy food, you'll only be eating good, healthy food. The first step is to go through your pantry and fridge and toss everything that doesn't fit into your plan. If you live with other people and it's their food, that's a different problem, and we're gonna cover that pretty soon. So what I would suggest is 2 things in this situation. The first step would be to tell them you are on a plan that is gonna fix your health and get your life together. This is much more direct and a serious statement than saying something like, I'm on a diet. Telling people you won't eat something is also more powerful than saying, I can't eat something. I won't comes from a position of certainty, whereas I can't comes from a position of weakness, something that they can use against you and peer pressure you into doing what you don't want to. The next step will be to kindly ask other people in your house to use non-see-through containers. The simple act of taking a bag of chips and dumping them into a container can help you avoid seeing your favorite brands and triggering your brain's reward center. Research has actually shown this to be a very strong tactic when it comes to preventing snacking. The second strategy is to add water when you start to crave. Now, this may sound pretty weird, but think about it like this. Anytime you start to get a little snacky, just have about 8 to 12 ounces of water. Sometimes the act of increasing volume in your stomach from water can trick your brain into thinking that you're full. This little tip has helped me quite a bit, and I know it's gonna help you out too. Another nice thing about this strategy is the fact that most people don't drink enough water. So I think that if you kind of add this little thing in, you'll kind of be killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The third strategy is to identify if your cravings are coming from boredom or an actual lack of food. Sometimes it's a combination of both, but first let's break up each one. Now, if your diet looks like a piece of boiled chicken breast and 4 pieces of broccoli, well, that's pretty boring, and you're probably going to be hungry as well. So if that's kind of what your diet looks like, well, then I suggest you jump on my 8-week plan so that you can increase the amount of recipes that you guys have access to. One little step with something like this is to just increase the total volume of your food by adding more veggies to your meal. Play around with different recipes so you're satisfied each meal. Dieting doesn't have to be boring, and low calorie doesn't mean no food. If on the other hand, your cravings are coming from boredom, keep a log on your phone every time you notice cravings and snacking fits take place. Write down what you were doing that time of the day, and you might start to notice a trend. For example, if every day after work you have a gap of 3 hours where you just sit on the couch and scroll through Instagram, simply replacing that gap of time with something else, such as going for a walk, reading a book, whatever it may be. But if scrolling through social media happens to be your favorite pastime and you don't want to replace it, then I would suggest adding in an actual low-calorie snack during that window. Just to give you a couple of options, you could do carrots and celery with low-calorie ranch. That's a great option, and it's not gonna be stacking up on calories. Another thing that you can do is implement seaweed, or you can just snack on roasted seaweed boxes. Some of them are pretty low calorie, so you just have to make sure that you look for the right ones. For the ones that I found, they're about 50 calories per box, so I can have 2 boxes for under 100 calories. Just some food for thought. So strategy number 4, sleep controls appetite. One study from 2004 found that patients who underslept less than 6 hours had decreased levels of leptin and increased levels of ghrelin. Now, these are the hormones that are responsible for controlling hunger and your ability to feel satiated after a meal. The study also found that hunger and appetite increased by 45%, specifically for carbohydrate-rich foods. For most people watching right now, this alone might be the cause of all your problems. You are failing to get enough sleep. I would like to add that sleep quantity is not enough, and sleep quality is another important factor you need to consider. If you would like more information, I have a video I did here that you can watch after this video. Strategy number 5, practice mindfulness throughout the day, especially during the times that you eat. This simple practice is one of the main things that has helped me get shredded and stay lean and healthy year round. The idea is pretty simple. Our bodies are not always conscious. As we repeat tasks, the brain learns these tasks and allows us to be on autopilot. This allows for the body to expend less energy over time. A good example of how this plays out is how easy it might be for you to drive a car to your local grocery store. It's probably subconscious at this point. However, compare that to the first time you got behind the wheel or when you have to drive to a place you've never been before. You're more conscious and aware of all your actions when something like that happens. The same is true with our daily tasks every day. You might subconsciously be snacking without actually knowing it, only then to be conscious later on in the day and think about what you just did and put yourself through a guilt trip. The solution is really simple. Think of your breath as an anchor point. Before you sit down for a meal, just breathe. Take a big deep breath through your nose and try to be aware of the present moment. Stay focused during the meal, making sure you're not eating while, scrolling through social media. This simple act of bringing awareness and mindfulness to your meals will make you more conscious of the choices you are making. As my late mentor, Charles Poliquin, used to say, nobody accidentally eats a dozen donuts. You are responsible for your actions. So stay focused on what consequences it may have in the future versus solely focusing on the instant gratification you're gonna get. Now, if you've made it this far, hopefully I was able to teach you one or two things. If I was successful, let me know by just hitting that like button. Also, if you found this video helpful and you would like to see more like it, please consider subscribing to my channel and just hit that bell icon so you are notified when these videos drop. I'm Coach Eric, stay strong, and I'll see you guys next time.